Going back to the labor law, because I know for a fact that you have been recognized by a lot of peers in the industry that you're a labor law expert. What are the trends right now? What's happening in the market right now? Because we've seen the new law that came in force a few years back, and there's a lot of changes from we don't have any more unlimited contracts. We are applying new set of rules for the UAE in general. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so you remember the rule I told you about employees getting compensated for losing the job?
Yes.
This is now gone.
Disappeared.
This has disappeared now, but it has been replaced by the unemployment scheme. Funny enough, actually, one of my clients was the mastermind behind the unemployment scheme. He made a lot of money out of that. But you see, the country is trying to, very smart. I found the UAE government very, very smart. They always try to find and look for smart solutions to always do two things mainly: attract people to come and live in the UAE. Look at this. I mean, the camera shows the view here. Like, look, the marina here that we're looking at 10 years ago is maybe more than 10 years, maybe 15 years ago, wasn't as it is, right?
Yeah.
And these buildings require people to be living in them, right?
Yeah.
So how can you attract the people? Very smart. So the government think, how can we attract the people? So by taking the compensation out of the law, that was a bit okay. So then employers can abuse employees and they can just leave with no compensation. I can fire you tomorrow without any consequences. But now you see the unemployment scheme come in place to a degree, compensate you for the loss of your job. You know, so that's interesting. But an interesting trend, I wouldn't call it a trend. It's actually, I'd like to believe it's a groundbreaking case that we recently acted on in the oil and gas sector. We were advising and acting for one of the biggest oil and gas companies in the world, and it was a massive. How can I say this in an uncontroversial way? Naughty directives, let's say,
okay,
in the Muslim way, and that been orchestrating a sham scheme for many, many years, and it resulted in $14 million worth of breach of trust that was embezzled out of the company. The way the scheme has been orchestrated, like, it blows my mind. You can't put them together. You can't, like, the investigation team spent enormous amount of time to try to understand how the scheme works. So now we understand. We believe and we know for a fact that these guys were stealing our money. But then how do you convey that to a police officer or to a public prosecution officer? It's a challenge, because it's the way, again, I mean, these days, the white collar crime type of cases, no one pulls cash out of drawer and put in pocket anymore, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't link the sham scheme. We were talking about inflated prices, sham companies that family of these guys owned. They charge triple and sometimes quadruple the amount of normal market price to the company. So you could argue it's all commercial disputes, all done through contracts, commercial contracts. You can never pinpoint them. We tried to get them in the civil court, and we failed in the court of first instance. In the court of appeal, I was just like scratching my mind. And that was the benefit of me working with my English peers, understanding what an injunctive relief is, understanding how the DFC court operates, and how the UK system operates. And said, this is actually quite interesting. You can ask a court to oblige your defendant to produce documents that actually can find them guilty. That's quite unheard of in the civil jurisdiction. Doesn't make sense to us as well. The concept, as you might know, the claimant is responsible for proving the case.
Proving the case, yes.
If you don't prove your case, you don't have a case, right?
Exactly.
I can't oblige you, Ahmed. Show me that email that will find you guilty. No, so no, go prove the case, right? That's the concept.
It's your liability. You have to do it. It's your job.
And by the way, there's a lot of thoughts that comes behind that, but I'm not gonna bore you with it. Yeah, because I thought about it a lot. What's fair? Is these guys the West or the East? And there's very, very interesting thinking behind why privacy matters in the Middle East, and why maybe openness is and fairness is being educated in this way in the West, but I'm not going to get into that.